Hello everybody. Yes, in the previous class we have studied about how to write a chemical reaction and how to balance the given chemical reaction, and also why we have to balance the chemical reaction. Continuing the chemical reactions and equations in the part 2, we will be discussing about the different types of chemical reactions and also their industrial applications. What we have seen in our previous class, let us try to see that. So we have seen the chemical change that leads to a chemical reaction. Then chemical reaction can be written in the form of symbolic way, that is chemical equation. And writing a chemical equation properly by knowing the valency of the ions therein and kind of molecules present in either reactant side and product side, and then balancing the chemical reaction we have seen. Now, in today's topic, we are going to discuss about the types of chemical reactions, and they are combination reactions, decomposition reactions, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, and redox reactions. What are these? The reactions are basically formation of new bonds and breaking of the bonds which are present earlier to that. Now, is it possible to have different kind of mechanism? Let us see in these cases. So, what is combination reaction? Combination reaction is one in which only one product is being formed. So, the product is formed from two or more reactants. So, two or more reactants combine to form one single product, that is the combination reaction. Example is the calcium oxide reacts with water, which will give calcium hydroxide. It is a combination reaction. It is called combination reaction because two reactants but only one product. There is only one product. This is called slacking of line. Probably you might have seen this kind of reaction. When there is whitewashing, the calcium oxide, the white powder, which will be mixed in water, and it will give a hissing sound when it is dissolved, and this is called slacking of line. It will give calcium hydroxide. It will give calcium hydroxide. Now, let us take some more examples of combination reaction. Formation of water from hydrogen and oxygen is also a combination reaction. And preparation of sodium chloride from sodium and chlorine. Chlorine directly reacts with sodium to get sodium chloride. It is also a combination reaction. So, it can be written in a general form. A plus B is equal to C. Right? So, let us see some more examples of this kind. Reactions. These reactions we find that heat is being evolved. Such reactions are called exothermic reactions. For example, methane gas, when it burns in air, it produces lot of heat energy. And this may not be a combination reaction, but an example for exothermic reaction. Normally, combination reactions are exothermic reactions. Right? Now, there is decomposition reaction. Second type of reaction is decomposition reaction. In decomposition reaction, one single reactant will break to get many products, 2 or more products. So here is an example of ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate, when it undergo the decomposition upon heating, it will be producing 2 gases, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. 2 gases are being formed. And ferrous sulfate is existing in the form of FeSO4 7H2O. FeSO4 dot 7H2O. This is the formula of the ferrous sulfate which is obtained from the industry. Why it is 7H2O? What is the meaning of this? This dot 7H2O indicates the absorption of water molecules for the formation of the crystal. So they are called water of crystallization. Some definite amount of water is being used up in the crystallization of ferrous sulfate. So this is ferrous sulfate heptahydrate. Normally whenever we are speaking ferrous sulfate, we leave this heptahydrate, but this is the way this is naturally occurring ferrous sulfate will be having this formula. When you heat, the water of crystallization goes away first, and then you will get the other products like Fe2O3, SO2 and SO3 on decomposition further. So it needs thermal energy. It needs thermal energy, and it is a kind of thermal decomposition. And SO2 and SO3 are the 2 gases which are acidic in nature. These are acidic in nature, right? Let us see some more examples of decomposition reaction. H2O2. This is a laboratory reagent, and we are keeping this. We are keeping this in the bottles. And even though it is sealed, because of the light, it may decompose into water and oxygen. Therefore, it is a decomposition reaction. Hydrogen peroxide H2O2, a laboratory reagent. A decomposition of calcium carbonate. So calcium carbonate decomposes to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. It is an example of decomposition reaction. Here heat energy is being used. Again, decomposition of lead nitrate. Decomposition of lead nitrate, PbNO3 twice lead nitrate, we get lead oxide, oxygen and NO. So here you remember that NO2 is a brown gas. NO2 is a brown gas, and lead nitrate on heating we get brown gas NO2. Right? Then, electrolysis of water, is it a decomposition reaction? Yes. Electrolysis, how electrolysis is being carried out? So, we have to take a water voltameter. This arrangement is called water voltameter. It will be consisting of 2 electrodes which are connected to a battery, and there will be 2 test tubes in which water is being filled and kept inverted. On switching on the battery, you find the gases are being collected in both the test tubes. And also, you find that these gases are nothing but hydrogen and oxygen gases. So, according to this equation, we are getting hydrogen and oxygen at 2 different test tubes. And also you can see the volume of the gases obtained also. So here the gases obtained here is twice that of the gas obtained here. Therefore this must be hydrogen. This must be hydrogen. So in water actually there is hydrogen ion and hydroxyl ion. Hydrogen ion being cation, it moves towards cathode. Therefore this is cathode. This cathode is having negative polarity. It should be connected to negative polarity. This cathode, to which H plus ion will come, cations will come, and H2 gas is being liberated, and oxygen is being collected at anode. So remember, the ratio of the two gases obtained is 1:2. That is oxygen. Ratio of the gases oxygen and hydrogen is 1:2. Right? Now, the decomposition reaction may take thermal energy, electrical energy. There is one more, light energy. So, the light energy, sunlight, directly falls on a chemical and there can be a chemical change. So, this is, the example is silver chloride. Silver chloride kept open using sunlight, it converts into Ag and Cl2. And the same is the case for AgBr also. Silver bromide also is converted into silver and bromine by using sunlight. So these are used in black and white photography. You know that black and white photography in which films were being used, and when it is exposed to light, there will be deposit of silver. And the deposit of silver is proportionate to the light, incoming light. Therefore, these reactions were made use of in black and white photography. Right? Now, these reactions that we have seen so far were endothermic. What is meant by endothermic reactions? Endothermic reactions are those reactions which need energy or which consume energy, and we need to supply energy. So the energy may be in the form of heat or electrical energy or maybe the light. So if it is light is being used, then it is called photolytic decomposition. So electrical energy, passing electrical energy, many of the reactions can also happen. So decomposition reaction is an endothermic reaction. Now coming to the displacement reaction, the third type of reaction, displacement reaction. So one displaces the other. So this is being found in the chemical compounds. A reaction in which one element displaced or replaced or removed another element is known as displacement reaction. So let us take the example of iron in copper sulfate. So here is copper sulfate solution, which is blue in color, right? And here is an iron nail. And if I insert this iron nail, the reaction takes place slowly, and you will find the portion which is being dipped will get the deposit of copper, and also the color of the copper sulfate changes into light green color. So it is a slow reaction, may take some time. By the time we will look into the other theory part of it. So this is the iron reaction with copper sulfate is an example of displacement reaction. Now what is being displaced? Let us try to see that. Fe and copper sulfate aqueous solution. Copper sulfate in water, aqueous solution that we have taken, and we have dipped iron nail in it, and it is displacing copper and forming ferrous sulfate. Look at this. Copper sulfate is blue in color and ferrous sulfate is light green in color. Therefore, the change is according to this equation. Right? So this is copper is being displaced here. Therefore, iron is considered to be more reactive than copper, more stronger than copper. So this is the way we have to interpret. Okay, so this is the arrangement that we have done, and let us see after some time whether the reaction has taken place or not in the way that is being told. Right? Now some other examples also let us try to see. Zinc rod, if it is dipped in copper sulfate, the copper sulfate, same copper sulfate, if you put some zinc, then it will be converting this into zinc sulfate and copper. Here the color change is from blue to colorless, and the reaction is little faster also because zinc is more reactive. Lead is added to copper chloride. Copper chloride is also bluish green color, and this will give lead chloride and copper. So here lead displaces the copper, zinc displaces the copper. Therefore, we can say lead and zinc are more reactive than copper. Right? So, there is another reaction called double displacement reaction. What are these double displacement reactions? Double displacement reactions are those in which exchange of ions takes place. The exchange of ions takes place. Example is barium sulfate, sodium sulfate and barium chloride. And by using that, barium sulfate is being formed. And sodium chloride is a double displacement reaction. Let us see what are the ions which are being present. Sodium sulfate contains sodium ion and sulfate ion. In aqueous solutions, they get separated. And this barium chloride contains barium ion and chloride ions. Now this sulfate ion will go with barium, so it forms barium sulfate. And sodium preferably go with chloride ion. Sodium ion with chloride ion forming sodium chloride. And here barium sulfate is insoluble and sodium chloride is soluble. Therefore, you will get a precipitation reaction, this which we have seen yesterday or previous class we have seen that. Okay, so this is, let us try to know correctly about single displacement, double displacement. Magnesium displacing copper. So magnesium sulfate and copper is being formed. So this is a single displacement reaction. So its general form is A plus BC. One of this is being displaced, B is displaced and AC is being formed. Is a single displacement reaction. And calcium carbonate and HCl both contains cation and anion. Right? There is no metallic species here. So these will undergo the exchange of ions to form two different products. Therefore, general form is AB plus CD, AD plus BC or CD. Okay. So this is the general form of writing the double displacement and single displacement reactions. Now, there is another reaction called oxidation reduction reaction. So here there are several definitions for oxidation. An oxidation is one in which addition of oxygen takes place. An oxidation is one in which addition of an electronegative element takes place. An oxidation is one in which removal of hydrogen takes place. Or an oxidation is one which is being happen by losing of electrons. All these are oxidation reactions. The reverse way, if you take it, addition of oxygen, addition of hydrogen is reduction, or removal of oxygen. Addition of oxygen is oxidation, removal of oxygen is reduction. Suppose if there is a reaction like this, I am not writing the physical state of that, but this is the reaction. Mg plus O2 giving rise to MgO. Here oxygen is added. Therefore, accordingly, oxygen is added, it is an oxidation reaction. Oxidation reaction. Right? So, hydrogen plus Cl2 giving rise to 2HCl. Okay. Here also if you balance. Okay. 2HCl. Now, for the hydrogen, chlorine is added. Or for the chlorine, hydrogen is added. Two ways of interpretation. Right? Hydrogen, for the chlorine, hydrogen is added. The addition of hydrogen is reduction. Therefore, chlorine is undergoing reduction. Chlorine is undergoing reduction. But from the point of view of hydrogen, it is an electronegative element and this is added. Therefore, hydrogen is undergoing oxidation. Even though there is no oxygen, we can say that this is an oxidation reduction reaction, in which hydrogen is oxidized and chlorine is reduced. So I hope you have understood the meaning of this. If the addition of oxygen or any other electronegative elements are for oxygen, sulfur, sulfide ion, or the chloride ion, bromide ion, fluoride ion, if these are present, then also we can say the oxidation reaction is taking place. So from the species point of view you can say. And this oxidation and reduction reaction both occur simultaneously. Given a reaction, both oxidation and reduction both takes place. If one species has to lose electron, another species has to gain electron, then only the reaction is complete. Therefore, they are the faces of the same coin. So therefore, they are called as redox reactions. They are called redox reactions. So, let us take different examples of it. Say, copper undergo oxidation when it is heated. Here is a copper metal bent in this form, kept in a stove, and the copper oxide can be reduced to copper. Both reactions are possible. For all these reactions, let us try to see in this particular video. See, here it is kept on the flame, and the copper, which is a metal, becomes black and forming copper oxide. Okay, you can see now it has become black. That means copper oxide is being formed. Copper with oxygen will become copper oxide. A funnel carrying hydrogen gas is being taken inside. Therefore, a hydrogen gas will become copper. You can see the shining surface of the copper once again. Once it is removed, then again copper becomes copper oxide. When it is removed, it again becomes copper oxide. So, you are seeing oxidation and reduction reaction both in this particular video. Now, coming to this reaction, the copper oxide in which hydrogen is being put, hydrogen gas, which is giving copper and water. The copper oxide is undergoing reduction because the removal of oxygen is being taken place. And for the hydrogen, oxygen is added. Therefore, it has become water. So hydrogen is oxidized because oxygen is added. Here oxygen is removed. Therefore, it is reduction. Now there is one more term that we use. This is undergoing reduction or this is giving oxygen. Therefore, it is an oxidizing agent. CuO is an oxidizing agent, and hydrogen is reducing agent because it is helping this to remove oxygen. Therefore, this is reducing agent. So these two terms you remember, copper oxide is an oxidizing agent and hydrogen is a reducing agent. Hydrogen is a reducing agent it gets an industrial application also. Okay, in higher studies that we are going to learn more about it. Now, let us take some more reduction reactions. Carbon can be used as a reducing agent. Zinc oxide reacts with carbon to give zinc plus carbon monoxide. See, this has got industrial application. Zinc oxide, that is the ore of zinc. Ore of zinc is available in oxide form. So if the carbon is used as a reducing agent, it helps in formation of zinc, which is a metallurgical process or metallurgical steps. This equation is being used. MnO2 plus HCl will give MnCl2, H2O and Cl2. And here chlorine is being produced. It is also an industrial method of preparation of chlorine gas. Right? So these are the examples of redox reactions. Now think about it. Which species is undergoing oxidation? Which is undergoing reduction in this particular reaction? Okay, that's the point to think here. Okay, so carbon is oxidized to carbon monoxide in this case, and zinc oxide is reduced to zinc. This is very easily followed. In the reaction 2, HCl is oxidized to oxidized into Cl2, that is H2O. H2O is being formed. Oxygen is added to hydrogen. Therefore, it is getting oxidized. Think more about it. You will get some more answers. So, effects of redox reaction in everyday life. This effect of oxidation reduction reaction that we find in oxidation of metallic surface. Oxidation of metallic surface is called corrosion. When the metal is attacked by atmospheric oxygen or atmospheric air and moisture, it forms a layer of its oxide. And for the iron, this layer of oxide will become flaky and fall down, due to which the strength of the metal is decreased. Therefore, the bridges, the iron bars which are used in the bridges or in constructions, if it is get corroded, then there will be a heavy loss because construction becomes weak. And we have to prevent this corrosion. How the corrosion can be prevented? You can see the cars and the iron bars get rusted here. It can be prevented by using a coating of zinc. If it is given, it is called galvanization. Galvanization is making a coating of zinc, or by painting and oiling and greasing can avoid the surface reactions. So, if this is regularly painted, probably this kind of rusting will not occur. Right? There is one more called rancidity. Rancidity is the spoilage of oil or oily product. The fat and oil, when they are oxidized, they give bad smell and taste, and we call the oil is rancid. Oil has attained rancidity. This rancidity is because of the atmospheric air. Then, how it is to be prevented? So, one way is there are antioxidants which are being added to the food. The packed food will be having antioxidants so that the food can be oil and food may not be get oxidized. And keeping the food in the airtight bottle, airtight or in the refrigeration, we can keep the food safe. And there is one more information. The chips packets are usually flush bags of chips with gas. That gases are nothing but nitrogen. So the nitrogen is flushed there. It is because nitrogen is less reactive and it will stop oxidation from oxygen. Therefore, this is the way the packing is being done. So, prevention of rancidity is also an important thing to be taken care of. Now, let us have some questions to discuss. Why does the color of the copper sulfate solution change when iron nail is dipped in it? Yes, copper sulfate will change, and you can see some deposits of copper on the iron nail, and its color will fade by taking more of time, and this will change because of formation of ferrous sulfate. Copper ions will be converted into copper ions here will be converted into copper, whereas iron is converted into iron sulfate. This is green in color, and you have to substantiate your answer with a chemical equation, right? So this is the answer to this question. Now coming to the next question. Give an example of a double displacement reaction other than the precipitation reaction. Barium chloride, sodium sulfate, giving rise to barium sulfate is a displacement and double displacement reaction that we have seen. Now, there is another reaction also, which can be a double displacement reaction. This is a neutralization reaction. Neutralization reaction is nothing but acid and base reaction to give salt and water. So, a base is sodium hydroxide, HCl, acid. then we'll get salt and water. So here NaCl exchange of ions and OH will go to hydrogen to give water. So this is a double displacement reaction. Okay, then coming to another question, what type of chemical reactions takes place when limestone is heated? Limestone, what is the formula of the limestone? Limestone is CaCO3. If you remember this, then you may say the answer to this question. Calcium limestone is heated. When it is heated, for heating this kind of sign also is being used. Heated, we will get calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas. Okay, so this is the reaction to be remembered. A magnesium wire is burnt in air. So magnesium Mg plus O2 giving rise to MgO is the answer. Electricity is passed through water. So when electricity is passed through water, water breaks to give hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. So it is a decomposition reaction. Ammonium hydroxide and hydrogen chloride are mixed. Ammonium hydroxide and hydrogen chloride. Ammonium NH4 plus ion is ammonium ion. Ammonium hydroxide, hydroxide ion is OH minus ion. This ammonium hydroxide, this is aqueous, plus hydrogen chloride HCl, whether it may be gas or a solution aqueous, then we are going to get NH4Cl and H2O. Ammonium chloride and H2O. So this is also a double displacement reaction and we get ammonium chloride and H2O. Ammonium chloride is soluble, therefore we have to write aqueous and H2O liquid. Silver bromide is exposed to sunlight. It is a photolytic decomposition reaction. Silver bromide AgBr will give Ag and Br. Right? So photolytic decomposition reaction takes place when silver bromide is exposed to sunlight. Okay, these are the answers to this question. Now let us take up some objective type of question. When the gases of sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide mix in the presence of water, the reaction is SO2 plus H2S giving rise to H2O and oxygen, 3 sulfur. Okay, so it is balanced. Here sulfur dioxide acts as an oxidizing agent, a reducing agent, a dehydrating agent, a catalyst. So here is a point to think. Now SO2 to be an oxidizing agent, it should give oxygen. Is it giving oxygen? Yes, it is giving oxygen to hydrogen to form water. Therefore, the sulfur will remain here. So here, sulfur dioxide acts as an oxidizing agent. Remember that sulfur dioxide acts as a reducing agent also. In few cases, it is acting as a reducing agent, but in this reaction, it is acting as an oxidizing agent. Now, answer is A. Now, there is home assignment for you. So, these are the questions. So, you read it carefully and try to complete it. Okay? Thank you.